Okay, I'm going to try and record today's Chumash Rashi. Yesterday we had gotten to Perik Aleph Pasuk Vav. So the Torah says, "V'hifshit es ha'oila," you should skin the korban oila, v'nitach oisa l'nesacheha, and cut it into its parts. Rashi says, "V'hifshit matam adleimer ha'oila." Could have said "V'hifshit oisa," you should skin it. We know what we're talking about. The rabbis as kol oilos lehefshit v'nituach. All oilos have to be skinned and cut, not only if they're voluntary oilos, but even if they are obligatory oilos. Oisa l'nesacheha, the oila is cut into parts. V'loi nesachel l'nesachim. You can't cut the parts into smaller parts. Pasuk Zayin, v'nasnu b'nei Aaron HaKohen eish al mizbeach. The sons of Aaron the Kohen should put fire upon the mizbeach. V'orchu eitzim ala eish, and arrange wood, a square of wooden logs on the fire. V'nasnu eish, Rashi says, afa pisha eish yaredis min hashamayim, even though the fire came down from heaven. Mitzvah lahavi min hahedyot. There was a mitzvah to bring some plain fire as well. B'nei Aaron HaKohen, Aaron has to be a Kohen kishu b'kihunoi. Aaron, to be able to do avodah, has to be a proper Kohen. Ha'im avad b'bigdei Kohen Hedyot avodas psula. If he used the begadim of a Kohen Hedyot, if he wore only 4 garments or didn't wear 8 garments, the avodah is disqualified. He has to be Aaron, but a Kohen the way he is supposed to be. V'orchu b'nei Aaron HaKohanim es hanasachim es harosh v'es hapoder. Then the sons of Aaron the Kohanim should arrange all the parts of the olah, the head, and the membrane that covers the head. They should put it al eitzim asher al eish asher al mizbeach. Put it on the wood which is on the fire which is on the mizbeach. Bnei Aaron HaKohanim, Rashi says, kishaim bekihunam. They too have to be proper kohanim. Ha kohen hedyet shavad b'shmona begodim avodas psula. If a regular kohen, instead of wearing 4 garments, decides he wants to wear the 8 of a kohen gadol, his work is disqualified. Es hanasachim es harosh, the parts of the animal and the head. Lefi shein harosh b'chlal hefshit, the head was not included in skinning. Shekvar hutas b'shchita, it had already been cut off at the shchita. Leficha chutzrach limnoso la'atzma, therefore it needs to be counted separately. Bes hapoder, and the membrane, loma nemer, what's this membrane all about? L'lamedcha shemaleyu im harosh u'mechasebo et beit hashchita. This membrane is put on the mizbeach together with the head, and the membrane covers the opening where the slaughtering happened. It's more respectful to have the opening of the head covered with a membrane than just to have it as an open hole. Asher al mizbeach, the wood should be on the mizbeach. Shlo yu hagzirim yotzin chutz l'marocha. The square should be a perfectly square, and shouldn't have any logs sticking out outside of the arrangement. The eitzim asher al eish, asher al mizbeach, perfectly placed. The kirba achrav yirchatz b'mayim, the intestines and the legs of the ola need to be washed in water because they're dirty. And then v'hikter hakohen es hakol ha-mizbecha, ola isherek nechayach l'Hashem. The kohen will then burn everything on the mizbech. It's an ola, it's a fire offering, and it's a pleasant smell l'Hashem. Rashi, ola, l'shem ola yaktirenu. When you put it on the mizbech, you have to have intent that you're doing it for the purpose of a korban ola. Isha, kishe yishchatenu yeshachtu l'shem eish. Even at the time when you slaughter the animal, you have to slaughter it with the intent that this will soon go on the fire as a korban. B'chol isha loshen eish. Isha is for the fire. It has the letters aleph shin fire in it. Nichoach nachas ruach lefanai she'amarti v'naser ritzoni. A pleasant smell is not the smell of meat. It's a pleasant smell before God that God said to bring a korban, and my will was done. And if he brings a korban not from cattle but from tzon, which is minaksavim aminoizim, it can be lambs or goats, because tzon is ovine, laola for korban ola. So this too zachar, just like cattle, it has to be a male tamin without any physical defect. Yakrivenu, he should bring it. Ve'im minatzon, Rashi says the vav of ve'im minatzon, mosif al inyan rishon, connects the second topic with the first. So v'lama hufsik, why was there a gap? Liten revach l'Moshe le'izbonim ben parsha le'parsha, to give Moshe a chance to think between one parsha and the other. Min hatzon, so min is an exclusionary word. Min aksovim, again an exclusionary word. Min ha'izim, again an exclusionary word. Hare'elu gimel miyutim, these are 3 exclusionary words. Prat lezaken, you can't use an old animal, lechola, a sick animal, umezuam, and a filthy animal. V'shachat oto al yerech hamizbech tzafonu l'fnei Hashem. The shechita of Kodesh Kodashim is like a higher level of korbanos, and an ola is Kodesh Kodashim. Therefore, the shechita has to be done on the north side of the mizbech l'fnei Hashem before God. V'zarku b'nei Harna kehanim es damo al mizbech saviv. And the Kohanim should throw the blood on the mizbech around. And as we learned yesterday, throwing blood on the mizbech around means one throw against the corner of north and east, one throw against the corner of south and west, and whenever you throw against the corner, it spreads on the two sides of the corner, so you've covered north and east, south and west. Rashi al yerech hamizbech al tzad hamizbech, on the side of the mizbech, tzafonu l'fnei Hashem, you have to shecht it on the north side of the courtyard when you are before God, but vein tzafim bebama. At a time in Jewish history when people were able to have a backyard or a small private altar, you didn't have to slaughter it on the north side of the altar. Pasuk Yud Bet is just to repeat, V'nita chosel l'nesachav, you cut the sheep or the goat up to its parts, Ves rosha ves pidro, the head of the membrane, V'orach ha-kohen oisam ala eitzim, asher ala eish, asher ala mizbeach. The kohen arranges the parts on the wood, which is on the fire, which is on the mizbeach. And once again, V'akera v'akrayim yerchatz b'mayim, the intestines and legs need to be washed before you put it on the mizbeach, and after that, V'ikra v'akohen es ha-koil, the kohen burns everything. V'ikter ha-mizbeach, he burns it on the mizbeach. He brings it and burns it on the mizbeach. Olahu ishrech nechoch l'Hashem. It's a korban ola, a fire offering, a sweet smell to God. V'im mina of ola korbano. And what happens if he wants to bring a korban ola l'Hashem to God, but from fowl, from birds? V'ikra, if he can bring mina torim, he can either bring turtle doves, omin b'nei yon, or young pigeons, as korbano his korban. Rashi mina of v'lo kol of. From the fowl, but not all. There's an exclusionary word here. Levisha nemar tomim zochar babokar b'ksavim u'ba'izim. When we talked about cattle, lambs, or goats, we said it had to be without a physical defect and it had to be a male. But tamut v'zachrut b'behema, only animals must be free of physical defects, and only animals have to be male to be korban ola. Vein tamut v'zachrut ba'ofot, but by fowl, that doesn't matter. Even if it has a physical defect, it's okay. And even if it's a female, it's also okay. So yochel, I might have thought, af mechuser ever, maybe the bird can even be missing a limb. Talmud Lomer, that's why we have the exclusionary word of min ha'of, from the fowl, that if it's missing a limb, it's disqualified. It doesn't matter if it has a physical defect, but an off can't be missing a limb. Torim, turtle doves, are gedolim v'loktanim. Those have to be adult turtle doves. B'nei Yona are ktanim v'lo gdolim. Pigeons have to be minors and not adult. Min atorim or min b'nei Yona. Now the words min are exclusionary words. Prat l'tchilat hatzihuv shebezeh v'shebezeh. Tzihuv is called molting. When the feathers around the neck start turning yellow, that's when the bird changes from being a minor to being an adult. And it's possible whether it's turtle doves or pigeons. Shagadol hu eitzel b'nei Yona, because we said b'nei Yona have to be minors, have to be young pigeons. Once the feathers start turning yellow, they've started to become adults, and they're disqualified. The cotton eitzel torim, we said the turtle doves have to be adult, and if the feathers around the neck have only started turning yellow, they have not yet reached adulthood. So therefore, when the feathers around the neck of the bird are starting to turn yellow, it's too old to be a young pigeon. It's too young to be an adult turtle dove. Pasuk Tezvav, v'hikriva ha-kohen ala mizbeach, the kohen brings it to the mizbeach, u'molak et rosho, and he does malik on its head, which means he cuts the head by using his fingernail, cutting from the back of the neck, v'hikter ha-mizbecha, and he burns it on the mizbeach, v'nimtza domo, and the blood work is by squeezing its blood al kir ha-mizbeach, against the wall of the mizbeach. Rashi, v'hikrivo, he brings it, afilu prei da'achas yavi. For a donation, you can even bring one bird, v'hikrivo, he can bring it. Ha-kohen u'malak, the kohen does malika, ein malika b'kli. Malika is not done with a utensil, it's not done with a knife like shchita. Ela ba'atzma shel kohen, it's done with the kohen's body. Kotzetz b'tziparno, he cuts using his fingernail, mimul oref, at the nape of the neck. V'chotech mafrakto, he cuts the spinal cord, and the spine, atshemagia l'simanim, until he reaches the trachea and the esophagus of the bird, v'kotzetzan, and he cuts them, all cutting through from the back. V'nimtza damo, and he squeezes its blood, loshon mitz apayim, its loshon is what's squeezed from the nose, or ki ofes hamitz. Kovesh beis hashchita, he squeezes the place where he shechted, didn't really shecht, where he did the malika. He squeezes that open wound al kir mizbech, on the wall of the mizbech, ba'adam mismatzeh v'yored, and the blood gets squeezed out and descends. Umalak, he does malika, v'hiktir, and he burns it, v'nimtza, and he squeezes out the blood. Efshar loma kain, is it possible to say that? Me'achar shu maktir, if step 2 is to burn it, how could he motze? How could step 3 be to squeeze out the blood? It's already burnt. Ella, rather to teach you, mahaktara harosh ba'atzma v'aguv ba'atzma, the same way that when you burn the bird, you burn the head separately and the body separately, because it says one pasuk v'hiktar amizbecha, and then again in pasuk tez zayin again it says, actually in pasuk yud zayin it says again v'hiktar osa hakoyin amizbecha, which means you're maktir the head separately and the body separately. Af malika came. So that's why the pasuk puts umalak next to v'hiktar to teach you that the same way that v'hiktar is in pasuk tezvav and in pasuk yud zayin, in tezvav you're being maktir, burning the head, and in yud zayin you're burning the body. So the same way af malika came, when you do malika, it's to sever the head from the body. Pshuta shel mikra mesurasu, but the simple reading of the pasuk is just to reverse it. Umalak v'hiktir, when you do malika, you should know that you need to burn the bird on the mizbeach. But v'kodem aktar, before you burn on the mizbeach, don't forget the nimtza dam kvar. You already had to have squeezed out the blood. Pasuk tazayin v'heiser es mur asai bin noitzasa. He removes the crop with noitzasa. I'm not translating it for a reason. V'hishlich osa, and he throws this crop etzel mizbeach kedma, next to the mizbech on the east side of the mizbech, al mekayim adashan, to the place of ashes, which Rashi will explain all of this. Murasa is mokam hari'i, a place where there is dirt, v'zu azefik, and that's the crop. He removes it benotzasa, in b'nei me'eha. You remove it with the intestines. V'noitza loshen dover hamos. Noitza is an expression of something that's disgusting. Kinotzu gamna'u, they were disgusted and they moved away. V'zeu shetirgam unkelis, that's why unkelis translates be'uchle, with its food. V'zeu midrasha shel Abba Yossi ben Chana, this is how Abba Yossi ben Chana explains it. Shamar, he says, Noita l'sakur kavan ima, when you take the crop, you also take the gizzard with it. So v'heiser es murasai, he removes the crop, b'naitzasa, with the other disgusting innards, including the gizzard. Rabbi Seinu Amru, our rabbis explain, Zechranim Levracha, Kaider Saviv Hazefik, he cuts around the crop besakin with a knife, Ka'en Aruba, like a window. In other words, he cuts from the surface of the bird, he cuts like a circular hole, like a window, reaches in, Vinotlo, and takes out the crop, Imanotza Shalaor, Notza's feathers, so he takes it with the feathers that's on the skin, because he also cut the skin in order to make a hole to be able to get in. Ba'olad behema she'ena chelet ela ba'avos ba'aleha, an ola of an animal, and an animal only eats from the feed box of its master. Nemar, the pasuk says, v'akerev v'akrayim yirchatz b'mayim, that the intestines and the legs you wash in water, v'hikta, and you burn on the mizbeach. But ba'of, a bird, shenizam and agezel, a bird flies around, and it steals grain from all over, and since it's fed from gezel, from stolen property, nemar v'hishlech es hamayayim she'achal min agezel. That's why you have to throw the innards, the intestines, the gizzard, the crop away, because that has food in it that it ate from stolen grain. Eitzel ha-mizbeach kedma. I hope you have a picture of what the mizbeach looks like. B'mizrocha shel kevish. The mizbeach was a 5 by 5 amma, a 10 by 10 foot square, had a ramp on the south side leading up to the top. So on the east side of the ramp is where you threw this crop. El mokam adeshen, what is that all about? To the place of ashes. Mokam shenoislen sham trumas adeshen b'chol boiker. Every morning there was a mitzvah, the kohen would go to the top of the mizbeach, take a shovel full of ash from the center of the ash pile, go down the ramp and put it on the east side of the ramp. And it's that very same place where you throw the crop of the ola ta'ov. B'disha mizbeach hapnimi v'amnora. Also when you go into the sanctuary and you take out any ashes from the incense, from the golden mizbeach, or when you go into the sanctuary and you take out any of the ashes of the burnt wicks of the menorah, all this stuff was put on the east side of the ramp. V'kulam nivlam sham bimkoman, and there was a miracle that it all got absorbed there into the ground and disappeared. It was a self-absorbing garbage can. Pasuk Yud Zayin. Now getting back to the bird. V'shisa oisa b'knofov, and now you pull it apart by the wings, but lo yavdil, don't separate the body into two separate pieces. Then the kohen burns it. Now he burns the body on the mizbech, on the wood which is on the fire. Olahu isharech nechoach l'Hashem. It's a korban ola, a fire offering, and again a pleasant smell to God. V'shisa ein shisuya l'biyad. When he pulls the body of the bird apart, he does it with his hands. V'cheinu omer b'shimshon. And regarding Shimshon Hagibor, it says vayishaseyu. He tore apart the lion kishesa hagdi, as one would tear apart a goat. Biknafav. Im knafav ein tzorach limrot kanfei notzasa. Biknafav, with its feathers, you don't have to pluck the feathers of the wings. Biknafav is notza mamish, real feathers. Valo ein lecha hedyet shemariach reach knafayim nisrafim ve'nafshe katzalav. A regular person who smells the smell of burning wings, it gets disgusted. It gives a terrible odor. B'lama Amar HaKosav Yaakov. So why does the pasuk say to burn the bird with its feathers? So that the mizbech is satisfied and adorned and decorated with the korban of a poor man. Who brings a bird instead of bringing a bull or bringing a sheep or a goat? A poor man. Since it's a poor man's korban, Hashem says, burn the feathers also. To me, the fact that he's willing to bring a korban is pleasant, even though the smell may not be. Lo yavdil, do not separate the bird when you're pulling it apart. You don't separate it completely into two pieces. You just tear it from the top. It says a pleasant smell regarding animals and a pleasant smell regarding birds. To say to you, it makes no difference whether you bring a bigger animal or you bring a smaller bird. As long as your intent is to heaven, it's equally valid. Perik Beis Pasuk Aleph. We start now with the menachos, the flour offerings. V'nefesh kisakriv korban mincha l'Hashem. If a person will bring a mincha offering l'Hashem, solid yeh karbano, it should be made of fine wheat flour. V'yotzak oleh shemen, he should pour oil on it. V'nosan oleh levona, and put upon it frankincense, which is a spice. V'nefesh kitakriv, Rashi says, lo nemar nefesh b'chol karbanis nadava ela b'mincha. It never used the word nefesh, soul, in all the karbanis that were offered. It never said nefesh regarding a behema. It never said nefesh by a bird. Elo, only b'mincha. Mi darkol is nadiv mincha. Who donates a mincha? Ani, a poor man. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God says, Malani olav kilu hikriv nafsho. I consider it as if he sacrificed his soul. The person who's wealthy brings a bull. Less wealthy can bring a lamb or a goat. Less wealthy brings a bird. Less wealthy than that brings flour and oil. And God says it's as if he brought his nefesh. Solet yeh karbano. Listen carefully. Ha'omer harei alai mincha stam. Somebody says, I'm going to bring a korban mincha, maybe minchat solet. He brings a mincha made of fine flour. Shehi harishona shebe menachos. Because this is number one of the menachot. There will be other menachot that will be baked or fried. But this one is number one. V'nikmetzet, and you take a 3-fingered fistful from it, keshi solet, when it's still in flour. Kemoshe mefurish b'inyan, as the pasuk will explain. Lefisha nemer kan chamisha mina menachot, because we're going to learn about 5 different kinds of flour offerings. V'kulan, all of them, bot afuyot kodum kemitza, all of them come baked. Well, kind of. There's 2 of them that are baked, and 1 of them is deep fried, and 1 of them is pan fried. All before you take the 3-fingered fistful. Chutz mizu, except for this one. This one you take a 3-fingered fistful before it's baked or fried. L'kach kruya minchat solet. That's why it's called a mincha of solet. Solet, ain't solet el menachitin. Solet is fine flour, but from wheat, not barley or rye or oats or spelt. Shenemer solet chitim. It says fine flour comes from wheat. Bein mincha pchuta mi'isara. A mincha cannot be less than 1/10 of an ephah. 1/10 of an ephah is equivalent to 43 eggs. It's to be sure, it's about 2 kilo of flour. Shenemer v'isaron solet lemincha. Isaron lekol mincha. Every mincha has to be a minimum of 1/10 of an ephah. V'yatzak oleh shemen, and you pour on the flour oil al kula. You pour oil all over the flour. V'nosan oleh levona, but you put frankincense upon it al miktsasa, only on a corner of the flour. Meniach kometz levona, you put a fistful of flour oleh on it, letzad echad on one side. How did you know that oil goes over all of it, yet the frankincense only goes on part of it? Shein riboy acharibu b'torah elo l'mayit. Whenever you have an inclusionary word after another inclusionary word, the second one becomes an exclusionary word. So since it says v'yatzak oleha, which is an inclusionary word, and then it says v'nasan oleh, which is another inclusionary word, it becomes an exclusionary word that you only put the levona on part of it. Davar achar, another practical explanation, shemen al kula b'bneishu nivlal ima v'nikmetz ima. The oil goes all over the flour because you're going to be blending the flour with the oil, and you're going to take a three-fingered fistful of flour and oil. Kemoshanemer, as it says, misalta mishamna. You take a komet from the flour and oil. But levona is al miktsasa. Keep the levona only on a part of the mincha. Shein nivlalas v'nikmetzes ima. Because you're not going to blend the mincha with the levona, and you're not going to take a kometz in the three-fingered fistful. You don't want any levona in there. Shenemer, because it says al kol levainasa, which means shalachar shekometz. After you take the three-fingered fistful of flour and oil, malaket es alvaina kula. You have to carefully pick up all the levona mi'alah from the top of the mincha, umaktir, and burn all the levona. If you're going to mix the levona between all the flour and oil, you'll never be able to pick it out. The yotzak, it says you should pour oil on the mincha and put levona on it, v'nasan, and then ve'eviyah, next pasuk bed, you bring it to the kohanim. Malamed, this teaches us sheyitzika belila ksher and bizarre. The pouring of the oil and the blending can be done by a non-kohen. Only in pasuk beis do we bring it to the kohen, and then the avodas hakahanim begins. And I know I'm falling a little bit behind, but I don't want to push it. We'll try again tomorrow, see if we can catch up and get to Revi. Anyway, have a good day. Whoever's listening, Tova Alechem Bracha, good for you. This is a chance to learn. These are the hard parshiyos, and I'll do whatever I can to make it as easy and as articulate and as careful as I can. But whoever does this, my friends, you're learning Vayikra, B'yirtzeh Hashem will do Tzav and Shmini, and you're going to have the foundation for Kachim. That's what Rashi does. Whoever learns this, good for you.